All right. Everyone's computer should be shut. Eliana and Calvin, come listen. So something I did not get to do last year because people were virtual and it just never worked out in our schedule was like go over our assessments on Monday. And that is something that I want to do is go over the assessments. That way you understand if you got a question wrong, okay? Because sometimes it's hard to know what did I get wrong if, you never actually go over it. So we took a vocab quiz last week over our vocab. We took the 5-question comprehension quiz, and we actually took the test too. So we're going to go over all of those this morning. And then I'm going to give you your new vocab words, and any extra time, hopefully you'll be able to get a little bit of time to start your homework. So that is what we are doing first. Any questions? No? Okay, well, good. So now I have the correct answers up here, but anyways, what part of an engine takes in gas to make other parts move? I said the gas pedal, the cylinder, hose, or other. The correct answer was, everyone? Cylinder. A blank is a machine that plays recorded music or sound. Phone, recorder, phonograph, phonogram. I don't even know. Is phonogram even a word? I don't know. I was making stuff up. The correct answer was phonograph. Let's see if this bad boy's going to work this morning. Isabel, just turn it in. You can finish it later, okay? Because you got to pay attention. Oh, did it work? No, it didn't work. Come on, we can do it. Did it work?
It moved a little bit.
Oh, all right, you know what? I'll just have to scroll. Isaiah, go scroll for me. What? I tried to scroll from here. Didn't work. It went too far. All right. Ooh. Stop. The train blanked along. It moved very slowly and noisily. The correct answer was? Chugged. The car was not working. It was making popping noises. So the boy said it was broken, sputtering, chugging, spitting. The correct answer was? Sputtering. Please scroll. What is a flop? A flop is a complete failure, something you do for fun, something you do in a pool, a complete success. The correct answer was a complete failure. And then we have, if something is incandescent, it gives off a lot of light. Scroll down. What is an example of a gadget? A dog, a blender, shoes, flowers. The correct answer was blender because it's like kind of like a machine. Shoes, I guess, could be considered a gadget, but not the way we use the definition. And then we had legal documents for inventions are called what? Papers, certificates, patents, projects. The correct answer was patents. Please scroll down. The blank was making the train move forward rather fast. Locomotive, because remember the locomotive is the engine part. All right. So, were there any questions on the vocab? Going once, going twice? Sold to the no questions? All right. Gabby.
How many people got all the money?
Quite a few. We did really good on that, so go all you people.
Sweet.
Wait, you should be able to see your score on that if you haven't already looked at it. Now we're going to go over inventor secret. You're going to have to go press next one. Or I might just do this one. We'll see. So on Thursday, we took the... All right, you're going to have to press next for me, Isaiah. We took the inventor secret quiz. And the first one I gave everyone correct because I didn't really love this question. Because it said, according to the passage, what was Thomas most curious about? And in the beginning of the story, he was most curious about chemistry. Like, it literally said he was curious about chemistry. But at the end, we know Thomas Edison created the light bulb. So then the answer was electricity. I feel like this question could have been better. It could have said, like, later in Thomas's life. So the correct answer was electricity. But if you put chemistry, I gave you the point. So everyone got this one correct, okay? Yay. Isaiah, next one. Which statement best describes the relationship between Henry and Thomas in the passage? Well, Henry admires Thomas and his inventions. Thomas was much smarter than Henry. Henry and Thomas were trying to invent the same thing. Henry was much more successful than Thomas. Would anyone like to tell me which one the correct answer was? Isaiah?
Henry admired Thomas.
Yes, Henry admired Thomas and his inventions. You should have had A. Henry and Thomas both invented things, so we can't say Thomas is smarter than Henry. They definitely weren't trying to invent the same things, not at all. And then it's also, we can't say who's more successful than the other. Thank you. You may click to the next one. Number 3, the passage explains that Henry was excited about repairing a special engine from England. He was so fascinated with it, he created a model of the engine to see how it worked. What does the word fascinated mean as it is used in the sentence above? Fascinated. If you're fascinated by something, are you troubled by it, confused, surprised, or interested? Malik?
Interested.
Interested. You should have picked D. I'm interested. Thank you. Number 4 was, what was Thomas's secret? Hopefully we all got this right because we literally discussed it. What was his secret? When things got tough, he gave up. Is that a secret? No, it shouldn't. Hopefully that's not anyone's secret. He believed people who said his ideas were a joke. He refused to give up and kept on working his ideas. He preferred to do chores rather than work on his experiments. What was the correct answer, Ethan? Yes, his secret was to keep at it, so you should have picked C. And last but not least, number 5, summarize. Summarize means Mrs. Kneifel doesn't have time to read the story. Tell me what it was about. That's what a summarize is, okay? Or a summary is. Thomas and Henry were boys who grew up in a time of great change. Thomas was a famous inventor who modeled his work on Henry's experiments. That's definitely not correct. Henry was a hardworking inventor who looked to Thomas for the key to success. Or Henry and Thomas, I was reading that thing, challenge each other to invent the most successful machine. Gabby?
C.
What?
Something about the movie Who Built America.
Okay, but right now we're focusing on this. It was C. That Henry was a hardworking inventor who looked to Thomas for the key to success. That was what it was mainly about, how Henry was looking up to Thomas. Are there any questions on this one? Most of us did pretty good on this. I think almost all of us had like 100. So go you people. All right, and then we had one more test, which was Friday. Does anyone know who that song's by?
No.
You don't know the Friday song? It's Friday, gotta get down on it. Seriously, no one knows who that's by?
I know why my parents and our parents. Ariana Grande.
Wow.
Hey, kidding?
Wow, I'm really feeling old.
That's
Oh.
I just forgot.
Oh, someone
Everyone knows one song.
Yeah,
but yeah, everybody.
I know who it's made by.
Oh, I've
No.
never even heard the song. Katy Perry. Selena Gomez.
No. All right, so lovely friends.
Do I know who Selena Gomez is? She started with Wizards of
All right,
Waverly.
Isaiah, you're gonna have to.
We all know who she is.
So this one, more of us struggled with, and I'm gonna tell you, it's a trend. This is our. Is it our second year or our third year with this? No, hold on.
Second.
It's our second year with HMH? I don't know. Whatever. It's either our second or our third year with HMH. And it's definitely our third year. And I'm going to tell you, every year at the beginning of the year, I always have students struggle with the test, okay? So if you didn't do super great on this first test, it's okay because we have more tests to come. But I'm going to tell you, it is a trend that every year, the first few we really struggle with, and then you guys really get the hang of it, okay? So don't panic if you didn't do that great. It's not a big deal. There will be plenty of other tests and grades to go in, okay? That being said, you had to read this whole thing, How Whales Wing It, and we did 8, 9, and 10 together, so we're not going to go over those because we already did those on Friday. So remember, that was 30% of your test. Go you. And the first question was, whose point of view is the article written from? And is it Dr. Fish, Stephen Drawer, a whale watcher, an outside observer? Does anyone remember? Just off the top of your head, Ethan? Yes, it was an outside observer, like someone looking in. So you should have picked D for that one. The next part was you had to read the sentence from the paragraph, and it was talking about From the deck of a boat, it's exciting to see a humpback emerge from the ocean. And emerge is off of the prefix E or EX that we learned like 2 weeks ago. And if you remember what the prefix E means, you should have totally known what this was. So if something's emerging out of water, what does that mean? If something's emerging out of water, Mason.
Coming out.
Coming out of. So you should have picked B. That is exactly what emerging means. If Mrs. Kneifel, sorry, my Google Classroom keeps on sending me things. If Mrs. Kneifel emerged into the classroom, I would be like, have to, Okay, next one. Thank you. What is the author's main purpose? So what we talked about why people write stuff: to persuade, to entertain, to inform. Did the author write this to tell us the results of a discovery, which would be like informing us, to persuade people to use wind power? Does this have anything to do with wind power? No. To tell us an entertaining story about whales, to describe the life of an important scientist. What was this about mainly? Isabel?
This was about whales.
But that was not what it was about whales, but that was not what the author was trying to teach us. What was the author trying to teach us, or what was the main purpose of writing it? The main purpose was not just to tell us a story about whales. I disagree. Malik. That's not an option. That was the one Isabel just said. It was not just to entertain us about whales. I disagree. Why did the author write this? Gabby?
To tell about the results of the discovery.
Yeah, that would be to inform us. They're informing us about the results of a discovery. That was what the author decided to tell us about, because the bump's on the whale and they, on his flipper, and then they found out all that stuff. So it would have been more of informing. It just didn't use the word inform. Trying to trick you. Next one. Why does the author include details in paragraph 3 about what happened in the Boston shop? So the Boston shop is when Dr. Frank Fish was looking at a model of the humpback whale in Boston shop. He noticed that the front or leading edge of the whale's flipper was covered in bumps. Dr. Fish studied the science of animal movements, and bumpy flippers just didn't make sense to him. So why was that in our story? Was it to help readers understand how scientists work? To show the difference between scientists and artists? Okay, does that one make sense at all?
No.
What? No. Exit out number B. Letter B. To explain how research in whales flippers began. To support the idea that humpback whales are amazing. I'm going to tell you, it's not B and it's not D. So, what do we think it's going to be? Is it going to be A or is it going to be C? I need someone I haven't talked to today. Rush, if you have a book out, Mrs. Clamp is going to be really upset. Alex, give it a best try. You have 50% chance. Was it to show the difference? Was it to help readers understand how scientists work, or to explain how the research into whale flippers began? I already said it's not B or D. It is A or C.
A.
I'm going to disagree with you. Alicia. It is C, because he was in a shop, he saw a model, he saw the bumpy fins, and he was like, what the heck? Why are those there? Those shouldn't be there. And then that's why he started researching it. So that's why it's in there, to explain how it began. He didn't just wake up one day and was like, I'm going to research whale flippers. No, that's not how it happened. It's because he saw a model and it didn't make sense to him. And since it didn't make sense to him, he needed to figure out why it was like that. Please go to the next one. Isabel.
Is having bumps on whale flippers bad?
No. If you read the article last week, it answered that question for you, ma'am.
Right.
So, lots of us need more work on writing radar and answering questions, and that's okay. Like I said, we're going to work on it as we go. So, it said, how did the article support the idea that new discoveries can lead to surprises? So, you could have said something that Dr. Fish was surprised by the bumps on the whale's flippers, which led to him finding out why the whales had the bumps, and it created more lift, and then they were faster. You could have said a whole bunch of different things, but you needed to tell me something about how, something that is surprising can lead you to want to find out more about it, okay? Cool. Next one.
Just type in A.
No, you don't have to type in anything. It goes, which sentence from the article best represents the main theme? Remember, the theme is what the author is trying to teach us. The lesson learned. We have, to test his theory, Dr. Fisk teamed up with engineers from Duke University and the U.S. Naval Academy. Is that anything that the author's trying to teach us?
No.
No, that's just telling us a fact. The secret seems to lie in the way tubercles break up the flow of air and water, creating tiny particles, air swirls. Or swirls. I don't remember what I just said. Or swirls. That is, once again, another fact. That is not, the author's not trying to teach us anything. That's just a fact. C, because the attachment to decrease drag and delay stall, the tubercles keep turning even at low wind speeds. Or, hey, don't be clicking. Or Dr. Fish loves the idea of using nature's design to invent new technologies. In case you didn't know this one is D. The author was trying to teach us that you can use nature's designs to invent new things, which we see that in real life all the time. Can't think of an example right now, but we see that all the time. When we see things in nature, then we create a design off of them. Yeah. Planes, yeah, like how birds fly. Yeah, definitely planes, cars. There's all different types of things. And the last one we're going to go through, because we already did 8, 9, and 10 together. Number 7. Read the sentence from paragraph 13. One problem for turbines is that wind is not constant. Even in gusty places like North Dakota and Kansas, strong winds do not blow all the time. So, constant, if we're using context clues, we know constant means not blow all the time. So, another word for constant, is it steady, visible, common, valuable? What is another word for constant? Another word for constant, Ethan.
Common.
No.
Repeatable.
The words are steady, visible, common, valuable. It's not common. Something is does not blow all the time. It is not constant. Means it is not.
It says the meaning of
I know. But then I was reading in the sentence, not constant. Okay, so what is the meaning of constant? If something's not constant, does that mean it's not steady, not visible? Is wind ever visible? No. I know it's not common, and valuable, not valuable. Alicia?
Steady.
It is steady. Steady means it's happening all the time. Like Mrs. Kneiffel's having a steady stream of voice talking right now because I've been talking this for a solid 20 minutes now. That would be steady. So if something's not constant, you could say it's not steady, meaning it's not happening all the time. Isabel?
Why isn't wind visible?
Oh my god.
I don't know. It's just blowing. I mean, if the wind picks up dirt and stuff, it's visible, but just wind itself isn't visible. All right. Thank you, Isaiah. Now we're moving on to this week's shenanigans, and we have vocabulary. Woo-hoo. Okay. So, what? This week, we're officially starting Module 1, Week 2. And remember, like last week, we did Module 1, Week 1 for 2 weeks. We're going to do Module 1, Week 2 for 2 weeks. In Module 1, Week 2, we have 2 stories to read. So we're going to read 1 story this week. We're going to read 1 story next week. So we do not have the big test this week. That's next week. So the thing we just went over, we do not have that this week. That'll be the following week. This week, we just have vocab and comprehension quiz. Okay? Okay. Ethan. Yes. Yes. All right. So we have 6 vocab words to learn today. And after our vocab, any extra time is for your homework. So we should be focused humans. And then hopefully you'll have lots of time for your homework. And I feel like you guys might know some of these vocab words, maybe not all of them. But our first one is irrigate. What does irrigate mean? We should know what this is because of where we live. This picture is also very helpful.
Let me see. Oh.
Irrigate. What does it mean to irrigate, Abby? To water what? Crops. Let's use the word crop. So to irrigate crops is to supply them with water. And it's through a system of pipes, sprinklers, and streams. It's not just a regular hose. Like if you're watering your garden at home, you're not going to say I'm irrigating it. That wouldn't be the whole thing. It's through pipes and sprinklers and shenanigans like that. So this is a verb because it's something that you can do. Who's seen an irrigation system? Probably on your way to school. Okay, yeah. Irrigation systems are all over where we live. Other people don't have things like this, so they may not be as see it as much. What? Yeah. So a sentence could be, farmers in the area must irrigate their fields in order for the crops to grow. Or there was a drought happening in my town, so the farmers had to irrigate because there was no rain falling. Okay, anything of that nature. And why do we need to irrigate? Because plants need water. And do some plants need more water than others?
Yeah.
Yes, we do know that a cactus, not that people are growing farms of cactuses, but a cactus rarely needs water, where tomatoes are definitely going to need some water. So, yes. Tomatoes. Yes, some plants need more water than others. And depending on what crop the farmer's growing, maybe depends on how much irrigation he needs to do. Next one. I like this word. Inspector. What is an inspector? What is an inspector, John?
Is this when someone like after you're done harvesting tomatoes, they go through the rock?
Okay, so I need you. That's an example. I want a definition. How can we explain a definition, Mason?
He looks for stuff.
Yeah, so an inspector reviews or examines something carefully, okay? So John was saying, like, a person is going to go through tomatoes and get out the rotten ones. So he is examining the tomatoes, getting rid of the bad ones, okay? Oh, wait, that's coincidental. Oh, is that because there was tomatoes on here? Because I was like, oh, look. The sentence says, an inspector checked the tomatoes to make sure they were clean. Coincidental. Ethan. Yes. So, in case you don't know, inspectors have to go to restaurants. Why would an inspector have to go to a restaurant where food is served to the public? Anyone want to give me why do you think that is, Malik?
So the inspector can look through the food to know if it's to see if it's good food for the public.
Right. So any place that serves food to the public, an inspector called a health inspector has to go, and they make sure the area is clean and the food's clean and people are washing their hands and wearing gloves and all that stuff. And other places like that too, like nail salons and hair salons, inspectors go and they just make sure everything is safe for people. So if inspectors didn't come, then things might not be safe. But then people could get sick or get hurt or things like that. Like we have an inspector that comes to the school is the fire marshal, and they come and they test all of our fire alarms and our electric panels and stuff. So that's an inspector that comes to our school to make sure things are safe for us, because what good would fire alarms be if they didn't work? Would that be helpful? No. So that's something that gets inspected for us. So there's that. Anyone know an inspector? Anyone know a health inspector? I do not. That doesn't count. That doesn't count. I meant an actual inspector in real life. All right, our next one, every single one of us should know. Are we ready for it?
Yes.
Photographed. Everyone should know what a photograph is, or photographed, which is past tense. If something was photographed, what does that mean, Alex? Yeah. So if something or someone is photographed, that means a photo of them is recorded on film or on a computer file or like in your phone or something. It's a photo that is recorded. So if you photograph something, that's a verb because it's something that you can do. So a sentence could be, Mrs. Kneifel photographed the activity we were doing at school. Meaning I took a picture of what we were doing. It was now recorded. Okay? Raise your hand if you've... what is something... Anyone? What's something that, is good to photograph?
Like a tree, like a beautiful tree.
Okay, beautiful tree. So just for artwork, something beautiful. What else is good to photograph, Gabby?
Like a good moment or like a school year, like you photograph like your class.
Okay, a class photograph. Abby?
Some birds.
Birds.
Bears.
Bears. Mason?
Oh yeah, holidays.
Holidays. It's a lot of people, we want to document or photograph happy events and exciting things. So some people take a lot of photographs. Mrs. Kneifel is one of those people that I don't photograph as much as I should. Mrs. Jones, on the other hand, is a person that photographs all the time. She catches all those important memories. But I pretty much only photograph my dogs, okay, because that's what I like to do. All right, any questions about photographs? We should all know what that means. That one's simple, simple, simple. All right, our next one. I like this word, but I don't use it enough. Prestigious. Everyone say prestigious.
Prestigious.
Prestigious is an adjective, which means it's a what? A describing word. If something is prestigious, like the most prestigious award in our school is Student of the Year. What does prestigious mean, do we think? Abby?
I think it means.
Anyone else want to give it a try? Ethan?
Like the best award.
Okay. Anyone else? You're on the right track. If something is prestigious, it is impressive and important. So the example they gave was the most prestigious award in our school is Student of the Year. That means the most impressive award the school gives is Student of the Year. If you won Student of the Year, that would be a prestigious award.
You got a bag of chips. Not on the picture.
What? He's holding a trophy.
That looks like a bag of chips.
No. So, what's a prestigious award that our school gives out? Like, what do we consider a prestigious award that Westville gives out? Gabby? 200 point club. That's really hard to reach, right? Getting all the way to 200 points. I would definitely consider that to be prestigious because not everyone gets that. There's one other award that I'm kind of thinking of that's also prestigious. I wouldn't say bronze, silver, and gold. Those are great awards, but I would not say that they're the most impressive. I would say 200 point club's the most impressive. So what is the other one I'm thinking of, Mason? Yeah, that's important. If you get all year honor roll, that would be prestigious. If you get honor roll all year, that's really hard to do. John? Oh, yeah, that would be a prestigious award, except for a lot of people are going to get that. The other one I'm thinking of is Black Hawk Pride Award, which only a few people get every year. So, 8 people in 5th grade will get it this year, and I think that would be a prestigious award because very few people get it. So, those are some prestigious awards, okay? Okay, yes. That was already on the announcements. You should have listened. All right. Well, then you'll see when we walk past their classroom today, Zoe. I'm not going to take away time from class to answer that question. Yes. What? It's just if you get honor roll all year long, like A's and B's all year long, it's like the principal's honor roll. That's all.
I got that last.
Fabulous. And I have 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, we give all year honor roll out, which means you have to get it in quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, and quarter 4 to get that. Mason. Yes. Isabel, do you have a question? Yes. All right. Remember, we're not supposed to interrupt Mrs. Kneifel for silly things like snacks. All right. Our next one is a word. You may not know the word, but you know what it is. And the word is auditorium. This is a noun. It's a thing. It's specifically a place. Does anyone know what auditorium is? Zoe? Okay, so you're giving me an example. You're not giving me a definition. I want to know what an auditorium is. It could be a gym. A dual purpose there. John?
A place that has a lot of seats and it's used to have plays.
Yeah, you're right. You're pretty much on track. An auditorium is a large room where an audience gathers for a presentation or a performance. So we at Westville do not specifically have an auditorium. If we're going to see a play, we go to the gym, which is turned into an auditorium with bleachers and chairs, right? There's other places that there's an auditorium specifically, and it's always an auditorium, like the Civic Auditorium, which some of you, which is where we go see the symphony every year. Who remembers going to the symphony? We go to that place in LaPorte. We sit in the bleachers up high. That would be an auditorium. We go there. We watch people perform, okay? So you could say a sentence like, when there is an assembly, our school uses the auditorium because it holds a lot of people. What's another event an auditorium might host besides a play or a symphony? What else might it host, Rush?
Like an old Jumbly show or something like that.
Okay.
Like Dixie Stampede, Disney.
All right.
A dolphin show.
A dolphin show. Mrs. Kneifel went to an auditorium this summer in at the Indianapolis Zoo and saw a dolphin show. What else might be happening?
I was there yesterday.
Oh, was it fun?
Yeah, I saw the dolphin show too.
Nice. What is something else that might be in an auditorium?
Maybe like a basketball tournament.
A basketball tournament. We could say a concert. We could say just a presentation, or just announcements, things like that. So those would be an auditorium. So everyone nod your head. You know what an auditorium is. Yeah. And our last one's probably one of the harder ones, like ones that we probably don't know. And the word is impoverished. Everyone say impoverished.
Impoverished.
And this is an adjective. It's a way you can describe something or someone, I suppose. Does anyone know what it means? If we break it down, there's that word impoverished. Is there a word that you think of when I say impoverished, Alicia? What? This has nothing to do with old people. Remember, the picture does not always match perfectly. John. Poor, yes. So when I hear impoverished, I think of poverty, and poverty means poor. So to be impoverished is to be poor. So you could say that the village was full of impoverished people. They didn't have the correct food or medicine. Okay, so impoverished means to be poor. Like actually poor, like none of you are considered impoverished. You know why? Because you're all wearing clothes. You all have food. So I would not consider any of us to be impoverished, okay? But it is a description word. So how might helping impoverished people make you feel? Like, okay, Mrs. Kneifel, last year during the student council, if you were here last year, we did the student council food drive and a lot of people donated food and stuff. How did that make you feel to donate food to people that don't have enough? How does that make you feel, Abby?
It makes me feel happy.
Okay, it makes you feel happy. What else? Isabel?
Probably makes you want to cry.
Why?
Because it's fun.
It also makes you super happy.
Oh, okay, so like happy tears. Anyways, it normally makes you feel good about yourself to help other people that are in need. Zoe? What?
Awesome.
Awesome. All right. So those are our vocab words of the week. Let's read them again. Irrigate. To irrigate crops is to supply them with water through a system of pipes, sprinklers, or streams. Inspector. An inspector reviews or examines something carefully. I'm not talking like, oh, look, I looked at it. No, you're really looking through it if you examine something and you're an inspector. Abby, stop moving. You're being distracting. Photographed. This is a verb. It's something that you do. If someone or something was photographed, its photo was recorded on film or as a computer file or on a phone. It's recorded somehow. Film, most of us don't really use film this year. Like you guys are probably before the time where you had to like get the little film cartridge and put it in your camera, then take it to Walmart and get it developed. Like you, that's probably before your time, but that was part of Mrs. Kneifel's childhood. Our next one is prestigious. And something is prestigious, it is impressive and important. Like Mrs. Kneifel is such a prestigious teacher. She's amazing. Like, oh, that would be such a nice sentence. All right, auditorium. An auditorium is a large room where an audience gathers for a presentation or a performance. And last but not least, impoverished. Remember, to be impoverished is to be poor, which is an adjective. You could describe someone or something that way. Okay? Are there any questions with our vocab words? Going once, going twice? All right, if not, stay where you are. I'm going to explain your vocab homework to you really quick. All right, vocab. So, and just when I let you go, not now, no one should be opening their computer right now. You're going to go to reading. You're going to go to September 6th through 10th. You're going to click on vocabulary assignment, module 1, week 2, number 1, view question. You're going to choose 4 of the 6 words to write in a sentence. You must write cannot put two vocabulary words into one sentence. You must use a capital letter and punctuation. You must spell the vocabulary word right. Your sentence must use the vocabulary word correctly, how we used it today, and make sense. This is due at 8 a.m. tomorrow. You have about 20 minutes today, so really, you can probably finish it before STEM. Any questions? If you finish before STEM, you may read for AR. Okay, so this is what you're doing. I'm dropping stuff. This is what you are doing now. Also, don't forget, I already have the slideshow up and running. Okay, so if you don't remember what a word is, the slideshow is directly underneath our assignment. Okay, go check it out. There's no reason not to know what a word means because I have the slideshow ready to go for you already. Okay? Yeah. What? Like a broken computer.
Oh yeah, Sunday was my aunt Anne's birthday.
You're missing a whole piece of your Chromebook, Zoe. And it doesn't magically happen.
Mrs. Can I hold?
What? Go to Google.
Sunday was my aunt Anne from my
I already heard you, love. That's fabulous. I don't know who your aunt is though, so you know. Okay, go to reading Google Classroom. Go to reading Google Classroom. Okay, well right now you're doing the vocab. Okay, that's what you're doing right now. Or you can go down and see if Ray's there, but you're gonna miss your work time.
So do you open the little sisters one?
Remember, you have all this time. Please use it wisely. If you don't remember a thing, use the whatchamacallits. Use the slideshow that I made for you. Which takes a ton of time, so feel free to actually use it.
Weird. Oh, let's use
Remember, this is due tomorrow. Normally you have 2 days, but since it's a short week, you only have today. If you need help with something, let me know. Oh, I guess I can stop recording now. Bye, friends.